Hello, my name is Thomas. Welcome to British Culture. Albion Never Dies. Last weekend, I asked on my YouTube channel, what would you like my next video to be? And whilst it's now 50-50 between the next Timothy Dalton film and How to Be a Bond Fan, throughout most of the voting, How to Be a Bond Fan really was ahead. And I've received quite a few messages about it, a bit more than Timothy Dalton. So I'll do that other video later. First, this one, How to Be a Bond Fan. Well, of course, I'm not some kind of James Bond fan police, to borrow a joke from Calvin Dyson. I'm not telling anyone off or judging openly. But what I am doing is just talking about Bond fans that I've seen throughout my life, talking about my own experience and really good ideas that I've seen that I might borrow for myself of how to be a Bond fan. So, of course, the first level is people who've maybe seen one of the films, thought they're pretty cool. If it's on TV again next time, might see one. Maybe if they're on a flight, they'll see one. And that's a great place to be, because then you have the whole of the rest of James Bond to discover. You'll be seeing it all for the first time. So I think that's a great place to be, and it's where we all start. Just seeing one or two and thinking, this Bond fella, maybe I could see a bit more of that. And of course, there's people who do go through and do watch all of the Bond films, maybe even own them on some kind of home media, or they've got the right streaming service, or somehow they'll see them and they'll know which one they want to put on when. Sometimes you want a dark, gritty film like License to Kill, and sometimes you want the fun of Moonraker and Die Another Day. Sometimes you just want fun. So people who know all the films, know who's in them, at least the main star, and know maybe a little bit about it. People who might put one on to watch one with friends and family. Oh, that's a level to show it to your family. I recently went to a concert where I met another Bond fan. I've got my Instagram account, Fleming Never Dies. He's got his Instagram account, Bond Up North. So we connected. We went to a concert where they played music from the Bond films, not just the opening title songs, a few of those, some of the incidental orchestral music, and that was fantastic. And there were people there again who just seen maybe a few of the films, thought they were cool. There were people who were just there really because they were music fanatics. And of course, James Bond does have great music from, say, John Barry and David Arnold especially. There's lots of great music, so it was attracting all kinds of people to watch the concerts. Those kinds of events, I think in the UK, we're very lucky. I recently did a podcast with David Zorinsky of the Bond Experience, and he talked about the differences between being a British fan and an American fan, and the link to that podcast is in the description below. So you've got these different gradients of fans. I say there's some people who love the films and they want to take a bit of it home somehow. And it could be in all manner of ways. It could be, you know what, you watch a film and you drink a vodka martini whilst you do it, or whichever other drink appears in the film. It could be that you have clothes made, or you buy clothes that James Bond favours. So I was very lucky. I used to go to a tailor in China. I could browse Matt Spaser's blog, Bond Suits, and of course I now have the book From Tailors with Love, and I can browse that and I can show my tailor this or that, and I know I'm very lucky with that. Other people like to get the more fashionable items rather than tailored clothing, and there's people who are interested in all kinds of different aspects. Actually, one of the first ones that got me was reading the books. Reading the books is what really made me a Bond fan, and of course in the books there's a huge emphasis on travel and food. Food especially, and there's a great website by Edward Biddulph called James Bond Food, and he did a book, License to Cook, so I'd follow those recipes, and the simplest one is scrambled eggs on toast, which fortunately James Bond in the books is a fanatic for scrambled eggs, and so I made it to Ian Fleming's recipe. I have to admit, that was not my favourite recipe for scrambled eggs, far too rich for me. One can see why he had a heart condition if he ate that too much. So there's a range of different food and drinks that appears in the books, and I really loved experiencing the world of Bond through food. There's a really good mutton ragu, which appears in From Russia with Love, my favourite book. Bond eats it. It's a Turkish recipe, and Edward Biddulph's book has a really good you know what, there's another podcast I'll put in the description below, my interview with Mr. License to Cook. So there's lots of different ways. There's of course Bond podcast, but one of the best ways is just to get together with friends. If you have a friend who really likes Bond, or you have a friend who's never seen a Bond or never read a Bond, then you can just watch it together. Or I had a friend who'd never seen it, it wasn't convenient for us to meet up, so he would watch a film and then we just talk about it afterwards, what he liked, what he didn't like, that kind of thing. It was a great experience. I'd say friendships are the best thing that's come out of the James Bond community for me. So I'd say there's a whole range of different ways to be a Bond fan. It could be collectibles, it could be doing something that James Bond has done, it could be just browsing the blogs or watch a YouTube video, and who knows, one day it could lead to you making some kind of James Bond YouTube video, and then I will be watching you, which I think would be really cool. Give me something to watch. Thank you very much for watching this video. This was voted for on my YouTube page. So yeah, do message me anytime. You can contact me on Instagram at Fleming Never Dies, reflecting my love of the Ian Fleming books, or you can email me at albionneverdies@gmail.com. Message me what topic you would like to see. I do this very much with my my podcast. As I say, links are below to that. I like to make it as responsive as possible, so do comment, do email, do Instagram, do get in touch, because I really like doing requests. Makes life interesting for me. Thank you.